Purpose Life Sports back here again, guys. So this is basketball. We're gonna talk basketball for a second. So I was had a whole bunch of arguments in the YouTube comments about basketball, about LeBron James, him winning the MVP. As you guys know, I've said this many times. I think it's Giannis's the MVP, clearly. Uh but you have LeBron fans, you have media who is pushing this narrative. LeBron's in his 17th year, he's 35. Nobody at this age has ever done this before. Whole Beal spiel thing that they love to do. He makes the money, so I understand that. LeBron James is a great player. He's done a lot of things historically. But this one YouTuber said something that really caught my eye. And it's something that you have those ideas where you're trying to say something but you don't know it, and then you see something, then it's like that's exactly what I was talking about. So this guy said, you know, and I'm gonna narrow it down to this: LeBron averages at least 10 assists, right? But to me, why? Well, it's kind of impressive, but it's kind of not. And here's why: LeBron has the ball in his hands the majority of the time, right? So of course, when you're orchestrating an offense that is directly involved with LeBron distributing the basketball, then what else is going to happen besides him getting a whole bunch of assists? I mean, to me, I'm not surprised that he's getting 10 assists if this whole LeBron system is predicated off of him getting the ball to different people. But when you watch a team that plays LeBron ball, that people like to call it, it involves a lot of LeBron directing traffic and people standing in certain places, so he can work his magic and the ball gets to where it needs to go. Whether it's him scoring, whether it's a lob to Anthony Davis this year, or it's shooters when LeBron draws in the defense to open shooter. It's LeBron stuff that he's done his whole career. It's why I don't say LeBron's evolved. I mean, LeBron's basically stayed the same. It's just different teammates, different names, but same type of player. So, but you have Giannis. Here's Giannis's case. Giannis doesn't average 10 assists. He averages 6 assists. Giannis is averaging, I think, over 28 points, but he's averaging 14 rebounds. He's averaging over a steal, over a block per game. He's diverse across the charts, averaging one of the highest player efficiency ratings in NBA history, which measures offense. LeBron, these past few years has been around 25 to 27. I mean, Giannis is in the 30s, which is historical because not many players have had a PER above 30, right? But this narrative that LeBron has around him is what's feeling LeBron. Also, the narrative that just isn't fair to anyone is that LeBron's had to carry the Kobe death. First of all, everybody has had to deal with that in the NBA. People don't understand how far Kobe reaches to all these young players, especially. I mean, Giannis was a big Kobe fan. Kobe was a big fan of Giannis because of the way Giannis played. Giannis played like Kobe did. He was all business. Giannis is here to win. And he's not going to be training with his friends off the court because he wasn't trying to do that with guys. He's trying to compete. That's how Kobe played. That's how MJ played. So you could see why Kobe was a big fan of Giannis. Well, I'm a big fan of Giannis. I think Giannis is, to me, he's he has a chance. I think he has an argument for the best player in the world, but people keep saying it's LeBron. Whatever. Now, my whole point is this whole thing about LeBron make his teammates better overstated? Because I think it is. Because for me, and the guy who made this comment said this: Giannis doesn't average as many assists, but when he's off the floor, his team still flourishes. And to me, that says a lot. Not only is your team built better, but it's not solely dependent on you for a success. That's how teams should be built. And I hate this argument, when LeBron leaves the floor, his team is ranked 29th in offense. Well, what does that say? To me, that kind of dictates how this whole LeBron system can be kind of selfish. And it can be why some people say LeBron is kind of a stat pattern. Why would you want your team to be solely dependent on you if you want to win? To me, if you want to be a winner, I'd build a team like Giannis has built, where you have all these different pieces that fit around a player, but when he leaves the floor, they don't fall apart. Why would LeBron why would a LeBron team be so dependent on him that when he leaves the floor they fall apart? That just doesn't make sense. But you're supposedly making your teammates better. If you make your teammates better, when you leave the floor, they should still be able to function at a high level um, because of how what you teach your teammates, how to be more efficient, how to run an offense better, what types of shots to take. Why would you be ranked as one of the top 5 offenses when he's on the floor, but 29th when he's off the floor? To me, if LeBron makes his teammates better, and this is and again when LeBron leaves a team, they completely fall apart. LeBron might be more selfish than we're leading on to. You see, you little analysts, the Colin Cowards, the Nick Wrights, the Shannon Sharps. I'm really not trying to call people out, but this is what us people who you call LeBron haters are talking about. You don't speak to this. You only speak about the part that you want to say is whenever LeBron leaves a team, they completely fall apart. That shows how good of a player that he is, how unselfish that he is. Kind of shows how unselfish he is what they say, but it shows how selfish he is, and how this system isn't really a winning system. He only has 3 titles and 9 finals appearances, but he supposedly has an argument in the GOAT debate. No, the only argument that he has is the most statistically accomplished player we've ever seen. But statistics don't always win rings. Jordan doesn't have nearly the statistics that LeBron has besides steals or blocks even maybe. But that man's team was built that when he left the floor, they didn't fall apart. They were always within or they can manage to hold without him. LeBron's teams don't hold without him. Maybe besides the caviars that he had Kyrie and K Love. But the fact that they completely fall off when he's not there, to me, that's not GOAT worthy. I mean, I'm not saying LeBron's not great. I'm not saying he's, a top 10, top 5 player to ever play the game. What I'm saying is let's stop this whole narrative that he makes teammates better to a certain extent. Now, does his play, help players become smarter about the game? I would say so. But here's what I also have to say on the other flip side. And many great analysts have said this. LeBron also, if you think about it, takes away from what his teammates did before they teamed up with him. Now, that's not always LeBron's fault, I'll say if you're going to play with LeBron, I think you should stand up to him a certain way to where, you may be LeBron James, but I still want to get mine because if I'm Chris Bosh, if I'm averaging 23 and 12 before I got to Miami and I'm averaging 16 points and 6 rebounds, at a certain point, I think you need to assert that I can be more helpful to you if you allow me to flourish too. Chris Bosh was a great post player. He was a great mid-range shooter. But with LeBron and bigs, and I've said this, is that LeBron kind of turns bigs into shooters. I mean, Kevin Love. Kevin Love was averaging 26 and 12, 26 and 13. Goes to the Cavs, and he's averaging 18 and 9. Now, those aren't really bad numbers, but Kevin Love was a all-star and was an all-NBA big man. Goes to the Cavs, averaging 18 and 9. Now, like I said, it's not all LeBron's fault, but to me, this whole system, it involves him having the ball at a dominant rate. Like a James Harden, even though James Harden scores. He's a scorer. He does get his assists, but he's a scorer. And to me, his system works differently than the LeBron system does. But I'm kind of I'm really getting tired of this whole LeBron makes his teammates better. You guys need to start being honest, and these LeBron fans too. LeBron does make his teammates, I would say, smarter. But if you're not scoring, or if you're one of the worst teams in scoring when the guy's off the court, that's not making your teammates better. That's something else. I don't know what's called. I don't have a word for it besides LeBron's team building type thing that GMs like to do for him are selfish. And here's where I'll point it out too. Last year, what did Magic Johnson try to do? Put playmakers around LeBron. To do what? To get the ball out of his hands to make sure the wear and tear, starts to weigh down. Because LeBron has had the ball in his hands for years. And the mileage on his body, all the minutes he's played, even though I will say he shouldn't. If players are talking about how they spend millions of dollars on their body, I don't want them complaining about how they have all this mileage, because you put all this stuff into what you do. So, but bodies do age, so I understand the argument too. But Magic Johnson, to me, had the perfect idea. LeBron, if you can average 25 7 assists, maybe 6 to 7 assists, 6 7 rebounds, and you're not playing as many minutes, but we have all these playmakers, so you can take the ball out of your hands. We can extend your career a little bit more. The experiment didn't work, partly because LeBron was injured, but partly because that's not how LeBron wanted to play. Because LeBron needs shooters. LeBron needs this. I'm not saying LeBron isn't great. I'm not saying he doesn't, to a certain extent, make his teams better or his teammates better. But I'm not going to say he overwhelmingly makes a team better or he overwhelmingly makes his teammates better. Because it's really not true if you look at the evidence. I mean, in his first season in Miami, Dwayne Wade, people forget, was averaging 25. And then it went down to 21, then to 16. So Dwayne Wade was having knee problems, but to me, what people don't want to talk about, these analysts that I've talked about before, is that you guys aren't truly all the way honest. You're only pointing out the things that make your argument sound good or things that you think is better. So I say all that to say this. LeBron, great player. We don't need to discuss that. But LeBron is probably one of the most selfish players we've ever seen. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish. I don't know why people think in this world you need to be. The most successful people are selfish. Because in this world, you have to be selfish to be successful to a certain extent. To make yourself a better person, to me, you need to learn how to become a better version of yourself. And you got to be selfish to a certain extent to make yourself a better person, to improve on what you can be in life, to improve your potential. But to act like LeBron is selfless, to act like he makes his team so much better, that's a lie. And that's what this video is mainly about, is talking to you guys about what you need to watch when you see LeBron. Great. He's a great passer. He's also a selfish player. Nothing wrong with being selfish, but there's something wrong with not calling it for what it is. That's the problem. Thank you guys for listening. That was our basketball talk for the day. And, whatever you guys think, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, let me know. And tell me why you disagree instead of just saying I'm wrong, Because a lot of people love to say they don't agree is that you're wrong and that you don't watch basketball. I watch basketball. I'm a basketball fan. I'm a LeBron fan. People are going to say I'm not, but I am. But I'm also can see the other side that you don't. So, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Purpose here. See you guys in the next video.